In October 1929, America believed it had solved poverty forever. For a decade, factories hummed day and night. Stock tickers clacked like machine guns of wealth. Everyone from industrial magnates to shoeshine boys bought into the American dream on credit. But prosperity built on debt is a glass castle, and in less than 1 week, that castle shattered into 10 million pieces. October 29, 1929, Black Tuesday. Over 16 million shares of stock were dumped in a single day. Billions of dollars in paper wealth vanished into thin air. At first, leaders promised it was merely a temporary correction. President Herbert Hoover assured the nation that prosperity was just around the corner. But as the winter of 1930 set in, the economic machinery didn't reboot. When the banks failed, they didn't just close their doors. They wiped out life savings overnight. Over 9,000 banks vanished between 1930 and 1933. Without deposit insurance, if your bank went under, your life's work went with it. Foreclosures swept the nation. Families evicted from their homes gathered on the edges of major cities, constructing sprawling shanty towns out of scrap wood, tin cans, and tar paper. In bitter irony, Americans named these desperate encampments Hoovervilles. Newspapers used as blankets were called Hoover blankets, and empty pockets turned inside out were Hoover flags. Nature seemed to conspire against the nation. In the Great Plains, a catastrophic drought coupled with decades of overplowing triggered the Dust Bowl. Monstrous black clouds of topsoil, thousands of feet high, choked the sun. Crops withered, livestock suffocated, and hundreds of thousands of farm families, known collectively as Okies, packed up their battered Model Ts and headed west toward California in search of work that rarely existed. By 1933, unemployment hit 25%. 1 in 4 adult Americans could not find work. Yet amid absolute desperation, the American spirit did not break. It adapted. Survival became an art form. Flour companies realized poor farm wives were using flour sacks to sew clothes for their children, so they began printing colorful floral patterns directly on the fabric. Neighbors organized penny auctions to buy back foreclosed farms for a few cents and hand them right back to the original owners. People shared whatever they had: a pot of thin soup, a handful of potatoes, or a shift at a temporary job. The crisis revealed a truth that wealth had obscured. America's ultimate reserve currency was community. Taking office in March 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt injected a sense of kinetic urgency into a paralyzed nation. In his first 100 days, FDR pushed a staggering wave of legislation to Congress. Through his informal radio addresses, dubbed fireside chats, he spoke directly into American living rooms, explaining bank holidays and government programs in plain, comforting language. An alphabet soup of agencies reshaped the American landscape. The Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, put 3 million young men to work planting trees and building national parks. The Works Progress Administration, WPA, constructed schools, bridges, roads, and hired artists and writers to document American life. The New Deal didn't instantly end the Depression, but it restored something vital: the belief that government could act as a shield for its citizens. While the New Deal stabilized the nation, true economic recovery required an unprecedented industrial engine. That spark arrived in December 1941. As America entered World War II, factories transformed overnight to supply global freedom. Millions of unemployed citizens walked off relief rolls and onto assembly lines. By 1944, unemployment plummeted below 2%. The economic dragon of the 1930s was finally slain, not by financial trickery, but by industrial output and total national effort. The Great Depression reshaped the American DNA. It birthed modern safety nets, Social Security, bank deposit insurance, and labor protections that remain cornerstones of modern life today. But beyond policies, it forged a generation known for frugality, grit, and deep empathy. America did not merely endure the Great Depression, it rebuilt itself from the ground up, proving that when everything else falls apart, human resilience remains unbroken.